Hello, hello once again. Welcome and welcome back. My name is Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. I think we're nearing the end of March 2020, and we could probably all use a break from this nonsense, this chaos, right? I mean, Democrats, Republicans, snakes, rats, weasels, the end of the world, stimulus packages, all that stuff has become incredibly annoying. And while it's all happening, it came to my attention that some people don't like Kanye West. And I thought, well, that just can't be right. It doesn't make sense. The man's a legend. You see kids walking around everywhere with these Yeezy 350 boosts, right? Where one shade is slightly different from the other shade. And I love all that. I like all those Yeezys. But let's take a look back at how we got here. Why Kanye West is the GOAT. And if you don't like Kanye, you probably don't even like yourself. And so before his debut album in 2004, he was already one of the most in-demand producers in all of music. Some people say that he revived Jay-Z's career by producing 90 or so percent of the Blueprint album. Also working with guys like Ludacris, Cameron, Lil Wayne, Carrie Hilson, Janet Jackson, Alicia Keys. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And that's before he became the powerhouse that we know today. And it all started with his 2004 debut album, The College Dropout, which was obviously a classic. It had Through the Wire on there, where he rapped as his jaw was wired shut as a result of a car accident he had been in only months earlier. Perhaps years, whatever. You can look into the dates yourself. What else was on there? All Falls Down, We Don't Care, Slow Jams, loads of Bernie Mac skits. It sort of exposed the scam that is college. Then we have Late Registration. Then we have Graduation. Then we have 808s and Heartbreak. Then we have My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Then we have Yeezus. Then we have The Life of Pablo. Then we have Ye. Then we have Jesus is King. And then we have Jesus is Born with the Sunday Service Choir. And then a couple more auxiliary albums in Watch the Throne with Jay-Z. Cruel Summer, which was the Good Music compilation album. And Kids See Ghosts with Kid Cudi. And the tours that came with a lot of those albums, right? So Graduation saw the Glow in the Dark tour, which was epic, and it had a little book that came with it as well called Thank You and You're Welcome. And then he later went on to perform 808s and Heartbreak from front to back at a couple venues. And then we have the Yeezus tour with the Giant Mountain, legendary as well. And then the St. Pablo tour that accompanied the Life of Pablo album with the floating stage. It did get canceled. I was lucky enough to go see it. He had a little bit of a mental breakdown, said that he actually liked President Trump. People didn't take too kindly to that. And then you have the more recent stuff and the Sunday service performances. And of course, the Merry Opera that he did around Christmas time here in New York. All amazing. Then we've got his fashion empire. So back in 2009, the first Air Yeezy with Nike was released. I think that was sort of a result as Nike seeing a huge spike in retro Jordan sales as Kanye and his team started to wear them and talk about them. In that very same year, he did a collaboration with Louis Vuitton. So think about that. In the same year, he does collaborations with two of the biggest brands on the planet. All of it selling out immediately. $2,000 pair of leather sneakers by Louis Vuitton selling out instantly. Then he comes back in 2012 for the Air Yeezy 2. Then he does an APC collaboration, a Bape collaboration, a Giuseppe Zanotti collaboration. I'm not sure if that ever actually hit the States. It was very high-end stuff for women, I believe, sort of timed with the release of the Cruel Summer album, mostly in Europe, Italy, if I'm not mistaken. And then in 2016, he pulled off what I think is what nobody else could probably do. So he debuted his Yeezy Season 3 collection at Madison Square Garden while previewing the Life of Pablo album straight off his iPhone and selling concert tour merch around the edges. So showing you the high-end fashion stuff, playing you the music, and then selling the lower-end tour merch all in the same day, all of which sold out. The Yeezy stuff later, but the tour merch was gone in the same day. Then we've got his overall reach, right? So if you want to take it all the way back to the Kanye University blog, well before Twitter, well before Instagram, he was influencing people, breaking loads of new artists. Big Sean, GLC, Asher Roth was on there. naming design trends, fashion trends, everything, taste making well before the influencers that we see today. Then we have the Good Music label, getting out our dreams, as it were, which house artists like John Legend, who is now a bit of a loser. He's become a deranged leftist, but that's not what this is about. Common, Big Sean, Pusha T, Tiana Taylor, Mos Def, Q-Tip, Hudson Mohawk, Kid Cudi, Lupe Fiasco. He later went on to make a little auxiliary group with Lupe and Pharrell called Child Rebel Soldier. They made a great song called U.S. Placers. Go ahead and look that up. And on top of all that, he also birthed the career of Travis Scott, right? And this is just the short list. This is not everybody. You still got Designer and some other people that came and went. Amber Rose being one of them. Then we've got the Donda Creative House, which gave rise to guys like Virgil Abloh, who created Off-White, Pyrex Vision earlier. He was part of the Ben Trill DJ Collective, and now he works for Louis Vuitton, of course. Then Jerry Lorenzo, who created Fear of God. He designed tour merchandise for Justin Bieber, which is no small feat. And then you got maybe like a Cactus Plant Flea Market. The guys over at Ambush, which were making the POW chains, which were really popular at one point in time. And again, that's the short list. That's not everybody. And then we have a handful of wacky personal events. So back during Hurricane Katrina, when he said George Bush doesn't care about black people. He also had a little guest spot on Entourage. He also shot an HBO pilot, which wasn't picked up. But, it's kind of funny because he said he modeled it after Curb Your Enthusiasm, which makes perfect sense because Larry David is, in fact, the Kanye West of comedy. He also did a guest spot on Family Guy. Then there was the entire Taylor Swift fiasco. Then he got involved with Kim Kardashian, which did make me nervous because they seem to leave a trail of weak men in their wake. But Kanye wasn't one of them. They're still going very strong. Created a beautiful family, right? And then the monumental Sway interview where, you don't got the answer, Sway. How, Sway? All that stuff. I think he later came out and apologized and said, Sway, I was bugging, my bad. But that's okay. Things happen. Then he did the TMZ interview where he said slavery was a choice. And, I don't think Kanye West has ever been the most articulate. But I think what he was trying to say was there was a silver lining to what he was trying to say. He just didn't get it out properly. It's kind of how they treat Donald Trump, right? That's the dragon energy where they just speak their mind without really thinking about what people are going to make of it. But, moving on. Then we've got him showing up at the Oval Office to talk about prison reform and some other stuff with President Trump, and all the talking heads, CNN, mainstream news media personalities just lose it. Their heads practically exploded like something out of a Dave Chappelle episode. And then we have our present day Kanye, where he's found the Lord. I'm incredibly happy for him, and you should be too. He's out working and living in Wyoming, where he's trying to come up with these factories and build his home on 4,000 plus acres in a town called Cody, I believe. And it's all just amazing. So before you say Kanye West is trash, you really got to look at yourself and say, what are you doing to help this world? And all that said, I really hope we're able to come out of this chaotic time in one piece, and that this will all be over very soon before the economy collapses on itself or we all die of some strange sickness. So we shall see. But until the next one, please have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening.